Now at 6, evacuation orders expand in Wasco County.
Wildland fires are pretty unpredictable. Mother Nature's going to do what she wants to do with us.
And a crucial tool to fight Portland's drug crisis won't be available anytime soon.
People are in desperate need. There's people dying.
Why the 24-hour sobering center is still 2 years from opening. Then
The layoffs that now appear to be looming in another local school district.
And later, the Oregon State Beavers getting some new threads for the new season. We'll show you their twist on orange and black.
First at 6, wildfire season is ramping up in the Northwest with new evacuations in Wasco County. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. The Larch Creek fire has now burned nearly 14,000 acres south of the Dalles and Dufur along Highway 197. After burning toward Tye Valley yesterday, today the fire pushed to the west toward the Pine Hollow community.
We have team coverage once again this evening with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino keeping an eye on challenging conditions, and John Adams live in Wasco County with the latest on the fire. John?
Well, guys, it's apparent just how far and how quickly this fire has spread. We're taking a look out over Tye Valley right now, and you can see by those blackened hills in the distance just how much ground this fire has covered in a short period of time. Fire crews continue to try and contain the fire on multiple flanks. We were able to get an up-close look at a group of firefighters from Marion County who arrived here in Wasco County on Thursday. Fire Chief Kyle McMahon told us the terrain and shifting winds have made the fire hard to corral, but is optimistic that Friday could be a turning point as more crews and resources continue to arrive in the area. That being said, the fire is still dangerous for both those in the area and fire crews.
There's still a threat. There's still a threat to the community. That's why we're here. That's why they keep bringing in more resources. And there's a threat to ourselves. There's homeowners that are still here. You know, that's on our minds, my mind, you know, that I have to worry about myself, my crews, but the residents that are in there.
The amazing thing here, though, guys, is that there are nearly 1,000 homes in the level 3 evacuation zone. Not a single one of those homes has been lost to this fire thus far. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. So good to hear homes people staying safe out there. We're also monitoring a new wildfire that forced a highway to close and is threatening a small town in eastern Oregon.
The Cow Valley fire has charged more than 80,000 acres in northern Malheur County. It's about 30 miles west of Ontario. The fire burned across Highway 26 earlier today, forcing ODOT to close the highway for much of the day. It has since reopened. Extra firefighting resources are now on the way. The blaze there is also 0% contained.
Hot weather, gusty winds, not a good combination. Let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Matt Zaffino, hoping for better conditions east of the Cascades there, Matt.
Yeah, it's going to remain hot over that way. And you're right, it's not a good combination, but it is July and it's a common combination that we get. Here's our camera that's closest to Larch Creek fire. This is in the Dalles, about 15-20 miles north of where the fire is burning, 90 degrees, very gusty winds, but that's along the river. The winds are a lot stronger there than they are farther south. The pattern remains the same, though. The winds will back off after sunset and then be light and variable in direction overnight. And that's good for firefighting, so that's good news. Also good news, the winds at all the reporting stations that I can find down here showing pretty light winds. Northwest at Friend, east at Highway 197 in Tye Ridge. There's a weather station there, due for only 4 miles an hour. What's happening is, and I think the reason why that fire spread to the west, as John told us, is the winds down here, they come west to east out of the gorge with this type of pattern, but then they funnel and they follow the terrain. So then they begin more of a northerly flow, and they will flow up these river valleys here, like 15 Mile Creek, Larch Creek, the other creek. So it's really complex terrain, and therefore it becomes a complex forecast because the winds, when they're light like this, will follow the terrain, and that's probably why we saw the spread that we saw there. You can see smoke from all the fires burning in Oregon here. There's the Cow Creek fire. Here's the Larch Creek fire here, or the Cow Valley fire, I should say, and the fire in Northern California, all producing a lot of smoke and a lot of haze around the Northwest. So we've got air quality alerts through Saturday and Sunday for Wasco County and western Sherman County, through Monday, actually, and then also in the southern counties of Oregon as the temperatures remain hot, humidity low, the winds gusty in the afternoon, but not as bad as they were. Guys?
Yeah, thanks for keeping tabs on all that, Matt. Also, a reminder, you can find the latest on the forecast, air quality, and fire situation across the region anytime on KGW.com and on our social media pages.
In your headlines now, a Tigard man is facing assault charges after police say he stabbed his mother several times. This was just before 1 this afternoon at the Meadow Creek Apartments. Officers say they found a 48-year-old woman who'd been stabbed. She told them that her son had done it. A short time later, authorities say the 28-year-old suspect called 911 from a nearby business and turned himself in. The victim was taken to the hospital. She is expected to survive.
And 16 people have now died in Oregon during the recent extreme heat. All these deaths suspected to be heat related. A 62-year-old Southwest Portland man is now the 6th reported death in Multnomah County. 3 people living in Washington County have died, as well as 1 person from Clackamas and Lynn counties. 5 people in a few southern Oregon counties died as well. Now the medical examiner will determine the official cause of death in all these cases.
In Marion County, health officials are reporting 2 additional confirmed measles cases. Both are in unvaccinated children who were diagnosed in the last couple of days. This comes after 3 cases were detected last month in Marion and Clackamas counties. In these new cases, health officials say there are no known public exposures. Nearly 170 measles cases have been reported nationwide this year.
The I-5 bridge replacement project has landed its largest chunk of federal funding yet, a $1.5 billion grant. This is in addition to $600 million in federal dollars from late last year. Washington Senator Maria Cantwell says there's now enough money to start construction in early 2026. The entire project is expected to cost about $6 billion. Both Oregon and Washington are helping foot the bill. The added federal funding is thanks to the infrastructure investment package that President Biden signed back in 2021.
Well, speaking of highways, a traffic reminder for this weekend. ODOT is shutting down a 5-mile stretch of I-84 in Portland between I-5 and I-205 so crews can clean up garbage and graffiti. The closure will begin around 11 Saturday night and last about 13 hours until noon on Sunday. ODOT is also working to add better lighting along that stretch. The shutdown will also disrupt the MAX red, blue, and green lines, which will be replaced with shuttle buses into Sunday afternoon.
Tonight we've got an update on the around-the-clock sobering center in Multnomah County. Plans to open have now been pushed back a couple of years.
Kyle Leboshi joining us live with those details. Kyle?
The long-awaited sobering center is meant to be a place where police or medics can take people under the influence of drugs or alcohol to sober up, and they can stay there for 72 hours.
Project delayed. An around-the-clock sobering center in Multnomah County has been pushed back. The proposed facility where police can take heavily intoxicated people now isn't expected to be open until the fall of 2026.
Dysfunction, absolute dysfunction.
It's a frustrating setback, said business owner Stephen Leon, who's seen the drug crisis unfold in downtown Portland.
The police need a place to drop somebody off. I hear it from the police officers, I hear it from our other community members, and the businesses in downtown are fed up.
Portland hasn't had a sobering center since the nonprofit Central City Concern shut down its facility in 2019.
I think that they definitely should open something up like that, and soon. People are in desperate need. There's people dying. Like, I'm a recovering drug addict, and people forcing me to get sober saved my life.
The sobering center will come after the county's planned temporary deflection center, set to open on September 1st. The building on Southeast Sandy Boulevard is a place where police can take people caught with drugs and try and get them help. It's part of the county's plan to deal with the rollback of Measure 110, helping steer drug users away from jail into treatment.
They can come in, get assessed, get connected with a peer, with some services.
County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson explained about 10 sobering beds will come in the spring of next year. Then the long-awaited 24/7 sobering center will open in the fall of 2026.
I'm just not quite understanding why that can't be happening sooner.
Yeah, I mean, so it is definitely a priority to bring sobering online. That's been a priority and a commitment of mine.
It's a phased approach, Vega Peterson explained, which incorporates sobriety. But for those who help the drug addicted, like Gerard Whitecalf, a sobering center can't come soon enough.
How would you like it if it was one of your family members out here that needed the service? Would you be as willing to put it off for another 2 years?
The Portland Metro Chamber, which represents businesses, put out a statement urging the county to move quickly on the sobering center. It doesn't think there should be phases. Instead, business leaders argue the deflection center and the sobering center should be ready to go at the same time. Back to you.
Well, we'll see if that timeline changes. Thank you, Kyle. We're following up this evening on a surprise budget shortfall in the Newberg school district that officials say will translate into people losing their jobs.
And as Thomas Schultz reports, it looks like the cuts will be significant.
Over the past couple of days, Newberg school leaders have been in talks with unions and say layoffs are imminent. This comes as Newberg tries to dig itself out of an almost $4 million deficit from this past school year. Next year, there's a gap of almost $11 million. Former Superintendent Paula Radich is leading the layoffs after Superintendent Stephen Phillips took an unplanned 2-month-long medical leave in mid-June. That came weeks after school board members said they were shocked to hear there was a deficit to begin with. In a school board meeting this week, Radich says staff reductions will be significant and layoffs will be in addition to 30 jobs which were already slashed. Radich says overstaffing and large drops in enrollment are contributing factors to the cuts, leaving parents worried what this means for kids.
I'm sad. I'm sad that we're having to cut so many personnel. It's going to impact our kids heavily next year and probably in the years to come.
And almost all groups of employees will be impacted. Contracted positions for things like nurses, mental health specialists, and speech teachers will be hit extremely hard. Radich says those jobs may be cut by half. We reached out to the district to learn just how many jobs will be cut. They said they'd have more information to share next week. Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
Straight ahead at 6, a hiker in the gorge tumbles down a slope and walks away with only scrapes and bruises.
And don't know if you've heard this one, but some people say you should wait 30 minutes after eating before going for a swim. Our Verify team looks at whether that's really necessary.